In this short how-to video, we're going to talk about how to send user data to Chameleon. Now, why is this relevant? Well, two good reasons. The first is to target your tools to specific users. Now, this is the crux of being able to show the right thing to the right user such that it's engaging, it's relevant, it's contextual for them. And so to do that, you need to send data around who that user is. For example, you might want to target somebody who's hasn't logged in for a while, or was newly created, or is on a certain plan. So you want to have this data within Chameleon. The other way is to be able to personalize content within any of the steps you create. You might want to reference someone by name, you might want to reference their account information or something else. So that data also, if it's in Chameleon, you can use it. Now, there's different kinds of data. So one is default properties. So this is stuff about the user that Chameleon automatically collects. Things like the browser, which city they're in, etc. Then there's imported properties. That's stuff about the user you send. There are imported events. That's what the users have been doing that you send, and we'll talk about both of those. There's also defined events. Actually, you can track events within Chameleon. There's other events that Chameleon tracks around how user engaging in tools. For example, if they started or exited or completed, and you can use that for these cases. And there's also data from integrations such as Intercom and HubSpot and Salesforce. But what we'll talk about is how to send imported properties and imported events to Chameleon. So let me jump out of here, and actually if there's a help center, and if you search send data, you'll actually come across the article for that. To send properties, the easiest way is to send it through the code when you're implementing the Chameleon code snippet. So as part of the Chameleon code snippet, you have to implement the script, and then you have to send some information about, for example, the ID of the user, and this is necessary for us to track individual users, what they've done, etc. And in addition to that, you can send any other data about that user. So for example, their email address, what their role is, a project, about their company, and so your engineers would actually code this in along with the snippet, and that way then whenever a page is loaded and the Chameleon script is loaded, Chameleon also gets that data about that user, which allows Chameleon to show the right thing to the right user. You can also send events, so what a user specifically did, and you can do that with the JavaScript API, or there's actually a backend API as well. So this is kind of in the code base. You don't have to send it every time. It's implemented once only, and then once it's done, you're able to send this data every time a user triggers that event. So go ahead and speak to your engineers and think about what is the relevant data you want to send based on who you want to target and how you want to use that, and then have them send that data. If there's any questions, feel free to ask us. You can use this chat widget on the bottom right.